In the sun-scorched land of Egypt, a new pharaoh who knew nothing of Joseph rose to power. Fearing the growing strength of the Hebrew people, he enslaved them with bitter back-breaking labor. From the tribe of Levi came a man named Amram and his wife Jochebed. Into their home, a beautiful son was born. But Pharaoh had decreed that every newborn Hebrew boy must be cast into the Nile and drowned. This mother, trusting in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, hid her precious baby for 3 whole months. When she could hide it no longer, Jochebed wove a basket of papyrus, sealing it with pitch to make it watertight. She placed her tiny infant inside and set the fragile ark among the reeds of the riverbank. His older sister, Miriam, stood watching from a distance, her heart pounding with fear and hope. At that very moment, Pharaoh's own daughter, a royal Egyptian princess, came down to the river to bathe with her attendants. She noticed the basket among the reeds and sent her maid to fetch it. Opening it, she saw the baby, and he was crying. Compassion filled her heart. Though she knew he was one of the Hebrew children destined to die, she decided to save him. The watchful Miriam bravely stepped forward. "Shall I go and get you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" she asked. The princess agreed. Soon, the baby's own mother, Jochebed, was brought before the princess and was paid by the palace to nurse her own son. When the boy was weaned, he was brought to Pharaoh's court and formally adopted by the princess. She named him Moses, saying, "Because I drew him out of the water." 40 years passed. Moses grew into a strong man, a Hebrew by blood, but raised in all the luxury of the Egyptian court. One day, he went out to see his oppressed people and witnessed an Egyptian taskmaster brutally beating a Hebrew slave. A surge of rage filled him. Looking around to make sure no one was watching, he struck the Egyptian down and buried him in the sand. The next day, Moses saw 2 Hebrew men fighting. When he tried to intervene, one of them sneered, "Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? Are you going to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" Fear gripped Moses. His deed was known. When Pharaoh himself heard of the killing, he sought to execute Moses. The prince fled for his life, escaping across the burning desert sands. Exhausted, Moses arrived at a well in the land of Midian. As he sat down to rest, the 7 daughters of the priest of Midian came to water their father's flocks. But some rough shepherds arrived and drove the young women away. Moses stood up, defended the sisters, and then drew water for all their sheep himself. The women returned home and told their father, Reuel, also known as Jethro, what the kind stranger had done. Impressed by his character, Jethro welcomed Moses into his home and later gave him his daughter Zipporah as a wife. She bore him a son, and Moses named him Gershom. But back in Egypt, the suffering of the Hebrew people had not ended. Their cries of anguish rose to heaven. And God, who sees all and forgets nothing, remembered his covenant, his sacred promise to their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thank you for walking through Exodus chapter 2 with me today. May the Lord bless and keep every one of you. Please remember to open and read your Bible daily, for in its pages the living God still speaks to his people. See you in the next video.